we're hearing diversity, we're hearing perseverance, we're hearing reflection and mentorship, support, being nimble, paying it forward, giving it back. I truly believe that this is something that really genuinely demonstrates if we can really make sure that everyone does follow along with these, then I believe that actually we have potential for a really powerful cannabis industry in the UK. Hi everyone, my name is Basia, Zieniewicz, and I will be moderating this panel this afternoon. I'm really pleased and excited to hear what you ladies have to say about particularly breaking glass ceilings and social responsibility, diversity. These things are very interesting topics to me. In fact, what we just heard there and talking about personalized medicine and how we need to look at a wide range of diversity, it sort of really nicely segues into this conversation about looking at a whole wide range of topics, and especially with the current hype and interest in cannabusiness, being such a young industry sweeping the globe, with many startups and companies popping up. I feel like that there is actually this interest in the motives of the companies as well, and what ethics they abide by, and where they are really pushing boundaries to maintain this integrity for where this sort of industry came from in the first place. So our objective here is to share some thinking about how businesses are being innovative and breaking these glass ceilings. So as there are many new people that have attended in the last hour or so, I know that some of you have already been on panels earlier and introduced yourselves. If you don't mind, maybe starting with introducing yourselves again and your positions, how your company demonstrates this sense of ethos of really demonstrating social responsibility.
Sure, I can start. I just got here a little while ago. My name is Beth Ola. I am the Chief Strategy Officer for Ianthus Capital. My company that I founded, which I'll discuss later, merged with Ianthus Capital and is a multi-state operator in the US. As Chief Strategy Officer, I asked for this position. I am in charge of social responsibility, and everybody in this room can rest assured I will make sure that that happens. Right now, I am running a program looking at all of female salaries next to male salaries, and I can assure you that all women will be making absolutely the same, if not more, than their male counterparts doing the same position. I'm a big advocate. I don't think that there are enough C-suite women at these big companies, and I fight for it every single day.
So hello again. My name is Jeanette Van Romero. I'm the co-CEO of 48 North Cannabis, a licensed producer in Canada, based in Ontario, Canada. We have now 3 licensed sites, 2 indoor cultivation sites, and we just were announced last night, the world's largest legal cannabis farm. I came to this industry because of my background is in agriculture and healthcare. I founded a company called the Green Organic Dutchman, which is a large publicly traded company. And then I moved on because I saw there were still gaps in the industry. A lack of women, a lack of diversity, a lack of authenticity, corporate social responsibility, all those things in the rapidly evolving, very stock momentum plays in the cannabis market. I'm very proud of my company, 48 North. Our motto is do good, and we are a good company. And that's really how we base our company and our people. And we have an amazing team of go-getters and everything from young and old, gay, straight, multicultural. I think it's really important your company represents, your staff has to represent the communities that we live and work in. So that's what we're doing.
My name is Annalisa Kibler. I am the Director of Regulatory Affairs for Aurora Cannabis in Canada. We have about 10 facilities in Canada, as well as we're building a brand new facility out in Denmark as well. So very global. from our perspective, in terms of making sure that we're conscious, as always, I think it's a really big advantage of a new industry is that they can take that mindset right off the get-go of creating the company. And when I started at Aurora, there was only 30 of us, and I felt that right when I started, and it's been just growing and getting better every year. We have LGBT committees, we have openly trans employees, we have we've now about 2,700 employees, and about 50% are female. So there's always that equal table, and I've never felt that gender was ever a question in terms of the work. It was about getting the work done.
Thank you. It's fantastic. I'm so impressed, and this really rings so true to my heart. It's wonderful. I feel blessed to be sat here with you ladies today. On that note, what kind of advice would you give to females, thought leaders, and all the range of diversity of sorts of people, whether we call them minorities or LGBTQ? What kind of advice would you give to somebody who, in this audience perhaps right now, is sitting there going, oh my goodness, this is so inspiring, this is the place for me, I want to get into this, how do I do it, and then how do I demonstrate this sort of ethos with in the business that I want to either start up or get into?
I'll start this one, but I'm sure I've got some good input from both you ladies. The cannabis industry is so new. We can actually do things differently, but we have to put ourselves out there. We have to make sure that we're pushing those boundaries to make sure that it is inclusive, it is respectful. And we can do that with our power, with our voice. We also vote with our pocketbooks and our wallets. So for me, it's important to support women-led companies, to support local Indigenous groups in Canada, things like that. So it's really important, but we have to be the policymakers and the system changers. We can do it. We have a lot of power. Often women forget how powerful we are. We know how hard we all work. When we work together, we can really change the world.
I'm a mom of 5 daughters, so this is really, really important to me. I worked on Wall Street for most of my career before I started in cannabis. I took a little bit of time off, which you'll hear about later. But what I tell entrepreneurs is perseverance is the one word that you have to have. It's got to be at the top of your mind, because you're going to get knocked down a million times. You got to get yourself up, dust yourself off, maybe have a little cry in the ladies' room, but you come right back out. And that's what I used to do when I worked on, a pretty vicious testosterone laden trading floor. And that was a long time ago, and so things were a lot different. And so I'm fighting for all of the same things.
In Vancouver, I was one of the founders and co-chairs of the first Women Grow in Canada. And at the time, in 2015, there was a very isolated community of women that were doing it on their own. And because they were worried about their families or the stigma or anything like that. And that's why they weren't really opening up and being open about their cannabis business, whether or whatever they were doing with cannabis. And when we started getting together and coming together on a monthly basis, I think the amount of collaboration and ability for them to communicate and meet other people that might have the skills that they're looking for, the information that they might need, the relationships that really catalyzed a lot of their businesses. And so I say, in terms of women empowering women, that's so important, whether it's in the legal space, whether it's an independent entrepreneur, and being collaborative rather than competitive is so important.
I couldn't agree more, and so great to hear it coming from each and every one of you. And it leads me to another question at this stage, which is, what sort of hurdles do you personally face as a woman thought leader within your company? And how do you overcome them? Where do you turn to for support?
Well, I'm on the board of directors of Ianthus. It is, there are 7 of us. It's 6 white males and me. So I'm quickly changing things like that. I have my head of investor relations here with me, who is a female, and she just came on a couple of months ago, but a former Wall Street just all-star analyst. So we are very conscious about who we're hiring. And I don't have a problem speaking my mind in the boardroom. What I will say about my Ianthus colleagues is they are extremely respectful of all of my opinions and very supportive. They want me to run these programs. So stay tuned.
That's one of my favorite things is just watch us, see what we're doing. It is, but I love your point about perseverance, and it really is important to break that ceiling. But I think mentorship is important to bring women into the industry. But I'd like to go a little bit further and take a step further and call it sponsorship, where I'm actually responsible and invested in the success of the people that I bring in, especially trying to develop leaders out of our staff. My quality assurance manager, our VP Ops, our CMO, they're all women, and to make sure that they get a wider view of the company and the corporate structure and how to work with a board. We're lucky our board is 4 men, 3 women, and I'd like to change that balance. But we're really lucky that we have that balance right now. The problem is there is a lot of challenges for women moving to leadership. Men have been trained and raised to do this. We have not been. We also tend to be more self-effacing and self-deprecating. It's hard to put yourself out there and say, I can do this, I can rock this. But I think, we must see one to be one. I think as we get more women leaders and more female CEOs and leadership roles, it's not that hard. It really isn't. Just trust me. The guys aren't any smarter. So we're doing a great job.
Yeah, I'd like to echo, I think the great thing about the cannabis industry is it's full of very young, forward-thinking people. So in the workplace, I generally have never felt that I couldn't speak my voice and be listened to. I think the challenges that I face is then more, as the industry grows, is dealing with third-party companies and having to be able to be respected the same way that my own employees or my own colleagues would take that on. So I think that's really the challenge that I've seen, is being a young female leader and having that respect from other companies that aren't as young and forward thinking as the cannabis industry is. So,
Ladies, thank you so much. I feel actually really inspired, and I feel really pleased to know that I believe I'm on the right track, and I feel like you're echoing all my beliefs as well, and I feel like I've been learning from you as well. And we're hearing diversity, we're hearing perseverance, we're hearing reflection and mentorship, support, being nimble, paying it forward, giving it back. I truly believe that this is something that really genuinely demonstrates if we can really make sure that everyone does follow along with these, then I believe that actually we have potential for a really powerful cannabis industry in the UK.